Future Principles of DepEd. Welcome back to our NASH review. In this video, we will be talking about a high probability situational question from Domain 4, Developing Self and Others. How will you going to answer this question? Can pregnant women who are on job, order, or contract of service positions in the public sector avail of maternity leave under RA number 11210? So a short review in this video will focus on maternity benefits for job orders and contract of service workers, navigating Republic Act number 11210 or the expanded maternity leave law in the public sector, including in the Department of Education. Question: are JO or COS workers covered by RA 11210? The rule is there is no employer-employee relationship between the government and JO or contract of service workers, as per CEC or Civil Service Commission COA DBM Joint Circular Number 1, Series 2017. Because of this, they are not eligible for paid leave from the agency's budget. For example, from our school. But there is an exemption. The exemption is that benefits are in the exemption is that benefits are instead access to the Social Security System or SSS. How can the female job order or contract of service workers who is pregnant access the benefits via SSS, the maternity leave benefits via SSS? Here are the eligibility and requirements. So in terms of status, must be registered as self-employed or voluntary member. The contribution rule must have at least 3 monthly contributions within the 12-month period immediately preceding the semester of childbirth. The benefit amount is 100% of the average daily salary credit or ADAC. So the duration is also 105 days for live birth, 120 days for solo parents, and 60 days for miscarriage or emergency termination. Question: a school head is preparing the upcoming school year staffing plan. One of the school's long-serving contract of service or COS administrative assistants informs the principal that she is pregnant and will be due during the peak of enrollment. What is the correct advice the school head should give regarding her maternity leave benefits? She should file her maternity, or letter A, she should file her maternity leave application with the Deputy Division Office to receive her full salary from the agency. B, she should ensure her SSS voluntary contributions are updated to claim financial assistance from the SSS. Letter C, she is ineligible for any maternity benefits because her contract is under no work, no pay rules. Or letter D, she must be converted to a permanent status first before she can avail of the 105-day expanded leave. Correct answer is letter B. She should ensure her SSS voluntary contributions are updated to claim financial assistance from the SSS. Under Republic Act 11210, COS or job order workers are classified as informal economy workers whose benefits are paid by SSS, not the government agency. Second question: a job order teacher assistant in a public high school has been paying SSS contributions for the last 2 years. She asked the school head if the school will provide a salary differential to match her current pay while she is on her 105 maternity leave. Based on the IRR of R8 11210, how should the school head respond? Letter A, yes, the school must pay the difference between her SSS benefits and her GO daily rate. B, no, because GO workers are not entitled to the 105-day duration, only 60 days. And letter C, no, the benefit from SSS is considered the full compensation for her leave period under the informal economy classification. And D, yes, but only if the school governing council approves the budget from the MOOE. Correct answer is letter C, no. The benefit from SSS is considered the full compensation for her leave period under the informal economy classification. Explanation, the salary differential or top-up applies only to private sector employees. For those in the informal economy, the SSS benefit is the total amount. Next, a school head notice says that a job order clerk's contract is set to expire while she is on her 105-day maternity break. To avoid legal complications under RA 11210, what should the school head consider regarding the security of tenure of this worker? A. The contract must be automatically converted to a permanent position to protect her rights. B. The school is legally required to extend the contract duration by exactly 105 days. C. The school head can terminate the contract immediately upon the start of the leave to save school funds. Or letter D. The non-renewal of the contract must not be due to her pregnancy or the fact that she availed of maternity leave. Correct answer is letter D. The non-renewal of the contract must not be due to her pregnancy or to the fact that she availed of maternity leave. While GO contracts are temporary, Section 17 of RA 11210 prohibits discrimination against any woman in terms of employment or contract renewal due to pregnancy. Dapat iba ang reason kung bakit hindi na i-renew ang contract. Next question. Ms. Santos is a job order worker of the at the Department of Agriculture. She is expected to give birth in August 2026. Her semester of childbirth is July to December 2026. To qualify for the SSS maternity benefit, the SSS reviews the 12-month period immediately preceding that semester, which is July 25 to June 2025 to June 2026. Upon checking her SSS records for that specific period, July 2025 to June 2026, Ms. Santos found that she only made 2 monthly contribution because she forgot to pay her voluntary premiums for several months. Is Ms. Santos entitled to receive the 105-day maternity cash benefits from the SSS? Letter A, yes, because RA 11210 is a universal law that covers all women regardless of their SSS contribution history. B, yes, because the government agency is required to pay the difference as her de facto employer. C, no, because she failed to remit at least 3 monthly contribution within the 12-month period preceding the semester of her childbirth. Or D, no, because job order workers are strictly excluded from all benefits under RA 11210, including SSS benefits. The right answer is letter C. No, because she failed to remit at least 3 monthly contributions within the 12-month period preceding the semester of her childbirth. Legal explanation. Under Section 1, Rule 7 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations of RA 11210, a female member must have paid at least 3 monthly contributions in the 12-month period immediately preceding the semester of childbirth, miscarriage, or emergency termination of pregnancy. YC is correct because Ms. Santos only remitted 2 contributions. Even though she is a GO worker, and is technically covered by the law's intent. The SSS is a GO worker and is technically covered by the law's intent. The SSS benefit is a social insurance fund that requires a minimum qualification period. Without those 3 months of payments, the SSS cannot process her claim.